I was born in New York, and then my parents, they separated very early on.
There have been tough times, days when the phone didn't ring, as well as moments of uncertainty and of doubt. But my mother always said that good things come to those who pray. And I see the truth of that every day as we welcome each new day.
About 15 is when I was attracted to it.
Angela really is a sister to me.
Wait, I want to ask about Black Panther 2. First of all, it's just amazing film.
Your first Oscar nomination was for your portrayal of Tina Turner.
You brought the queendom, you brought it down, you lifted it up.
That's who we are.
Angela Bassett earned her first Oscar nomination in 1994.
She's a two-time Golden Globe winner. She is a 7 Primetime Emmy Award nominee. She won a Critics' Choice for Wakanda Forever, and she's earned her 2nd Academy Award nomination. Please give a warm welcome to Angela Bassett.
I guess Angela Bassett did the thing.
She doesn't chase attention, she commands it. Angela Bassett walks into a room and something changes. Her voice doesn't rise, but it echoes. Her presence isn't loud, but it's unforgettable. To the world, she's the woman with the regal gaze, the powerful performances, the timeless grace. But behind that calm control is a fire, one forged in rejection, loss, and the brutal limitations placed on Black women in Hollywood. There's something about Angela Bassett that no one can quite put into words. But once you see it, you never forget it. This is the story of the quiet power that refused to break, the pain behind the poise, and the woman who became a legend without ever asking for permission.
I started doing like little plays in this Upward Bound program that I was involved in. They sent me to DC, to the presidential classroom. I discovered theater on that trip to DC. James Earl Jones was in A Mice and Men, and I was the last person in the theater, and I was glued to my seat, and I was just weeping.
Angela Bassett has portrayed queens, mothers, icons, and rebels, but for decades, she was overlooked by the very industry she helped shape. While she gave the performances of a lifetime, Hollywood often turned its back. No matter how extraordinary she was never treated as the default, never seen as the chosen one. She was passed over, underpaid, typecast. Yet somehow she kept rising. Her story isn't just about brilliance, it's about quiet resistance, about what it costs to remain dignified in a world that tries to shrink you, and about how she built a legacy by refusing to disappear. Angela Evelyn Bassett was born on August 16, 1958, in New York City, and raised by a single mother in St. Petersburg, Florida.
I was born in New York, and then my parents, they separated very early on. Well, my mother got pregnant with my sister, so very early on. You know, a lot of times if it's hard for you, the extended family, comes into play, steps in for you. So my father's sister, my Aunt Golden, who was an educator, her and her husband, my Uncle Grover, who was a barber, in the community, they took me as a 10-month-old.
She didn't grow up in wealth or privilege, but she was raised with excellence. Her mother, a social worker, demanded discipline, integrity, and ambition. Angela was the kind of child who sat in the front row of life, but life put her in the back. Teachers underestimated her. Casting directors overlooked her. Even in school plays, she was often told her look wasn't right, but she kept studying, kept performing, kept believing that one day someone would see her for who she really was.
I, became familiar with some Langston Hughes poems. Like Reverend came by my house last week.
She earned a scholarship to Yale University, where she studied under the legendary James Earl Jones and graduated with not 1, but 2 degrees. She was brilliant, trained, and burning with purpose. But when she entered Hollywood, none of that seemed to matter. Agents told her she was too intense. Producers asked her to play maids, addicts, background characters.
They would come to New York, but then it was if the roles that a brown girl could play, brown-skinned girl could play, there are, capable ones in LA. So it's as if they'd see us, then they go back. So that's what made me come to LA. I came to LA to do, film and television.
For years, she said no to roles that disrespected her intelligence. Her rise wasn't fast, but it was earned. And then came the role that changed everything. The moment Angela Bassett transformed from theater actress to living legend. In 1993, Angela Bassett did what few actresses of any race could do. She disappeared into the soul of Tina Turner. Her portrayal in What's Love Got to Do with It was electric, controlled rage, aching vulnerability, explosive power. Angela gave it all, and it nearly broke her. Playing Tina Turner wasn't just a performance, it was a spiritual experience. She studied Tina's voice, her movement, her pain. She embodied a woman who had been abused, silenced, and nearly erased. But what made the role harder was how personal it felt.
This is one terrific movie, beautifully made period film, with a couple of towering Oscar nomination caliber performances.
She's probably one of the greatest actresses to come along in 25 years.
I never wore that.
How she becomes not Tina, but the essence of Tina.
Every word you hear is sung by Tina Turner herself.
She constantly told me that I was perfect.
Angela didn't just understand the trauma, she had lived with the reality of being underestimated, doubted, and dismissed. When the film hit theaters, critics exploded with praise. Audiences wept. She was nominated for an Academy Award, and then she lost to a lighter, more palatable performance. And just like that, the system reminded her, even greatness has its limits when you're a Black woman in Hollywood. Angela Bassett could have easily faded into the background like so many brilliant Black actresses overlooked by a system that often offers them only crumbs. But instead of waiting for validation, she made her own rules. She chose roles that demanded range, fire, and emotional truth, building a filmography that quietly reshaped what it meant to be a powerful woman on screen, from the emotionally raw, waiting to exhale to the confident, radiant lead in How Stella Got Her Groove Back. She portrayed women who were never weak, even when they were hurting. In Malcolm X, she gave Betty Shabazz a voice of calm authority. And in Black Panther, she wasn't just a queen, she was the heartbeat of a nation. Angela never chased empty stardom or compromised her value for easy visibility. She rejected roles that reduced or erased her, choosing instead to embody depth and dignity in every performance. She didn't demand attention, she commanded it. Over time, she became something more enduring than famous. She became respected, not just for what she did, but for how she did it, with control, intention, and the kind of grace that doesn't fade with trends. But what happens when you give the performance of a lifetime and the world still tells you it's not enough? In 2022, Angela Bassett delivered a career-defining performance as Queen Ramonda in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Where is her treacherous husband now? But in a place where she can visit if she wished. Mine! It's with the ancestors! I am queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and my entire family is gone!
Her grief was raw, her authority was magnetic. For the first time in years, she was back in awards conversations, and this time, everyone believed she would finally win the Oscar she deserved. The award season buzz was deafening. Her name appeared on every prediction list. And then during the Oscars, the moment arrived. The envelope opened. It wasn't her name. And for a split second, the world saw something rare. Her disappointment. She didn't mask it. She didn't perform grace. She let the moment land honestly, without apology. Some criticized her reaction, but others saw what it really was. A woman who had spent 40 years giving everything to an industry that still treated her like an afterthought. It wasn't ego, it was heartbreak.
So last year I'm in my house, we're all in our pajamas watching you on Oscar night. You were wearing purple.
Yes.
30 years after you were nominated for What's Love Got to Do With It, but didn't win. So I just knew your name was gonna be called. And then when they didn't, I was beside myself. We were beside ourselves in our house.
Angela didn't speak publicly about the loss right away. She didn't need to. Her silence said what so many women of color understood, that excellence doesn't guarantee justice, that you can do everything right and still be told you're not quite enough. But even in loss, she remained poised, powerful, unshaken, because Angela Bassett never needed a trophy to prove her worth. She is the award. Angela Bassett rarely makes headlines for scandal, but that doesn't mean she's untouched by controversy. In fact, her silence in moments of tension has sometimes spoken louder than words. In an industry that often expects Black actresses to stay silent or be grateful, Angela's refusal to shrink made her a target of quiet criticism. She turned down roles that felt hollow or degrading, refusing to play the stereotypes Hollywood so often hands to Black women. Some called her too picky, others said she was difficult. But Angela knew exactly what she was doing, protecting her power, her image, and her worth. When she lost the Oscar for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, her composed reaction was read by some as cold, but in truth, it was a crack in her legendary calm, a glimpse into how much she's given and how much she's still denied. Despite controversies and quiet criticism, she remains one of the most beloved actresses in Hollywood. So what is it really that makes Angela Bassett unforgettable? The secret lies not in her roles, but in who she chooses to be when no one's watching. Angela Bassett's power isn't just in her voice or her presence, it's in her stillness. In a world obsessed with noise, she is unbothered, grounded, refined. She doesn't compete. She doesn't plead for attention. She simply exists. And that is more than enough. That kind of presence doesn't come from fame. It comes from knowing who you are, from surviving rejection without becoming bitter, from building a career without losing your soul. Angela has never allowed the industry to define her, and that is why she endures. She's not just a great actress. She's a blueprint for dignity, longevity, and grace under pressure. She's a mother, a wife, a Yale graduate, a history maker. She's given us queens, icons, revolutionaries, and mothers who burn with quiet strength. She has redefined what it means to age in Hollywood, what it means to be Black and brilliant, what it means to carry yourself like a monument, even when the world refuses to build one for you. There's something about Angela Bassett that the world will never fully explain. Maybe it's her voice, maybe it's her presence, maybe it's the resilience she wears like armor. But one thing is certain, you do not forget Angela Bassett. You do not overlook her, and you do not question her power, because she's not just a woman, she's a force. And while awards may come and go, her impact is forever. She is the storm disguised as still water.